Sometimes you just got to go fishing. It's nice and warm, the sun's out, and you know that the carp are on top. One of the simplest methods you can use is to go floater fishing. It's really quick, it's really simple, but there are a couple of tricks that you can use to help you catch a few more and a few bigger fish. So I'm here at Woodlands Water, Ancaster, which is an absolute picture postcard lake. There are carp all over the surface, and the best way to catch them, a carp controller. These are Kodex carp bombs, and there are three things that I really like about them. Firstly, they're weighted at the bottom. They fly like arrows through the air. Secondly, the line goes through the swivel at the top, which means it's always off the surface, which is really important when you're fishing with floaters. And thirdly, these swivels on the top of the float detach, which means you can swap between the three different sizes of the float. There is, though, a trick that I use for attaching them to the reel line, and I'm going to show you that now. First trick of the day, how to attach your controller in a way that will prevent you from having tangles and will catch you more fish. Simply slide your main line, your reel line, through the eye, make a great big loop about, I don't know, let's say about a foot long, like that. And you put the controller, make a loop, put the controller through that loop twice, like that, and form a knot. Just pull it together and make a knot. So then you've got the controller sliding inside a loop. Then you make another loop below the depth or the length of the float. So it's there, so we're going to do a simple overhand knot just there. Just like that. Which leaves you with another loop, and basically the float slides in the tram lines, so it will never tangle, and then when you get a bite, it hits that knot, and the fish hooks itself against the weight of the float, and you attach your hook length line to that end. Absolutely simple to tie, and it will catch you more fish. So another trick for you, and this is a bait tip. We've all been there. You feed, especially when you're feeding mixers, they seem to take every mixer except your mixer. Very frustrating. You think, how does that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happens. It's because the mixer that has your hook in it sits slightly deeper in the water, whereas the ones that are floating on the surface are level with the surface. The one with your hook in it sits a little bit deeper, and they know the difference. The trick to cure that is really simple, and it's to use two mixers in a band. I actually super glue two together, but these sit on the surface. They take the weight of the hook better, and that will cure that. So if the old double mixer trick fails you, there is something else that you can try that normally catches you a fish. And it's these. These are Kodex munches. They're unlike any other bait that you're going to see. They're incredibly soft and they're unflavoured. And what I do with them, because they're very easily cut into shape and they don't need to be hairy because they can go straight on a hook, I cut them to a shape, and I quite like the sort of broken shape, but that's roughly about the size of the mixers that I'm feeding. And because they're unflavoured, I dip them in a flavour, and all my pellets are soaked in oil, so I'm going to soak this in oil, and that goes out. Now that they haven't seen before, and that never lets me down. One of the best tips or tricks that I can give you. We've had to go quite a long way out to get a connection. It's been a lot of fun with the wildlife here as well, but we've got a decent fish on now. We caught it on a bit of munchy, and you can see now why I particularly like this Kodex SXI for floater fishing. The action is absolutely ideal for floater fishing. I'm only fishing with sort of quite a small hook, a 12, and not the heaviest line, but as you can see, the progressive action is absolutely perfect for these sort of carp. That's a decent enough fish. I'm fishing at about, probably best part of 60 yards. The controller gets there really easily with that. Very impressed with the controllers. But I haven't been fishing very long. Nice common look. Not the biggest fish in here, but you can certainly see the action of the rod. It's what you need for floater fishing. You've got sort of small hooks and lightest line. You need that softer progressive action, but you also need a little bit of casting power. But there's plenty of power down in the butt, as proof when we tried to get it away from the trees. And like all carp this time of year, they don't half pull. And I think he's just about done. No, not quite. Next time, I think. There he is. Really impressed with that. Not the biggest fish in the lake, but you know, it really gave a good account of itself and loads of fun. You've got a couple of hours to kill, bit of surface fishing, can't beat it. So that's it for me. My time's up. I gave myself 2 hours to catch a couple of fish and I've caught one and lost one. But don't forget the 3 tricks I've given you. When you're fishing with mixers, use 2. Use the munches dipped in a flavour or a liquid because that will definitely bring you a bite. And the way to put these controllers on your line is to put them in the tram lines, leave a little loop to put your hook length on, and that will bring you more bites and catch you more fish. Anyway, I know the tea's on, I've got to go home.